more specific, and to Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for coming. We'll call the special called session of the Lincoln Parish School Board for Monday, 23rd, 2026. If you would rise, and I'm going to ask Mr. Hancock to lead us in the invocation and Ms. Debbie Abram to lead us in the pledge.
Thank you, Lord God, for this opportunity to gather together and take care of the school board business, Lord. And Father, I just pray that we take care of the business in a godly manner, Lord. And Father, we use your wisdom. And just thank you for all the administrators and teachers, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Salute and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming. We've got a couple of items on the agenda for today. We're going to start off with item number 4.1, school board to appoint the vacancy for District 9. Oh yeah, we got to approve the agenda first. Sorry, thank you for that. We do need to approve the agenda. So hopefully you've had a chance to review the agenda. Are there any changes that need to be made to that?
I move to accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you very much. Second from Mr. Hancock. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, we'll move on to item 4.1. As I was saying, to fill the vacancy for District 9 of Lincoln Parish School Board. Mr. Geist.
Yes, sir. Members of the board, when you have a vacancy, which occurs either by resignation or the death of a board member, the Secretary of State notifies you of that vacancy and your obligation to report it, to fill it. Since this board's term expires on December 31st of this year, that means it's less than 1 year left, so you don't have to have a special election. So the person that you appoint to fill this seat will serve up to the time of qualifying an election to fill that seat. The same requirements of residency apply to the person that you appoint temporarily. I want to be clear because this comes up a lot of times. Can the person you appoint run for the office this fall? And the answer to that is yes. And so it takes a majority vote to appoint the person. And that's the way that it's done. I'll answer any questions that you may have.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Can we develop a criteria or a policy that we can use when a school board member resigns or dies in office, that we can follow a policy, not make a policy as we go?
Yes, sir. It's a double-edged question there. Let me respond to it. What I would do is adopt the policy for the future. In this case, we got a really short fuse, and if we don't appoint, the governor appoints.
That's what I'm saying now.
So in the future, you can have as detailed a policy as you want. For instance, Bossier Parish, their policy is they post it on their website, and then they run it in their official journal. And then they actually have the people submit to formal interviews before the board. That's the only parish that I deal with that goes that far, but you can, by policy, put whatever you want in that policy.
I think we need to develop one. We can have a dog and pony show and don't have a policy to precede it, you know? So
policy
we need
that-
some kind of something to follow, not make up as we go.
I think statewide, we see the same situation that you have here. It's very short, and there's no details in it. So I just don't want the public to believe that Lincoln's policy is different than anyone else. I think the deficiency or the shortness of the policy that you've identified is what we're seeing across the state. But to answer your question, you can make your policy say whatever you want to, as long as they live in the area and they meet the residency requirement. That's right.
So the 20 days is on a parish by parish basis?
No,
So that's a state law?
It's state law. It's in
Okay.
Title 18. What's that vacant? And a lot of people think that it's when the person resigns at the meeting or when they say I'm going, and the actual 20 days starts ticking when the notarized resignation letter hits the Secretary of State's desk. And in the event of a death, it's the date of death, not when we get the letter. So a lot of times a board member will die in office, but the Secretary of State will not receive notice for like 10 days, and you only have 10 days then to get it done. So that 20-day period is a hard number. And so that's the situation. Thank you, Mr. President.
What day are we at right now?
26th is it was received at this Secretary of State on the 6th,
Let's see.
and they gave us till the 26th, yes.
Any other question? Okay, so, at this point, I would assume at this point, we would take nominations for individuals to fill that spot. I do know of 2 individuals who expressed an interest in this spot, but only one of them is actually going to be able to serve because of prior commitment of not being in town during the time of the selection of the superintendent. And so at this point, we have one name to consider. That's Miss Patricia Mims Brooks. You have all of her information in front of you. And so as I've told her, if she wanted to come speak, she can certainly say do that. The podium is open during that time. So, but other than that, I would have that name as a motion that we fill Miss Linda Spotman.
Mr. President,
Yes.
just so there's no confusion, anybody can be nominated, okay? So I know these people express their interest, but I don't want anyone to walk out of here and say, you know, that we only had one option, and y'all anybody can nominate anybody you want, okay? So.
Very good. Take a nomination.
Need to make the nomination.
I'll make the nomination, Ms. Brooks.
And I second.
Anything else?
I make a motion, we close the nomination.
Motion's been made, we close the nomination. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much. So at that point, I believe it's safe to say this is correct. We can say that she's been elected.
Yes, sir. I would go have a bunch of caution and ask.
Very good. All right, public comments. Anybody have anything they'd like to add?
I have some, it's not directly toward Ms. Brooks, but about this process in itself. Is that okay?
You may.
Excuse me. I'm Beta Emerson, and I really have a concern about our school board. And I had a sleepless night just thinking about it and whether I would even get up and say anything. But in this day and time, 2026, I thought we had overcome. We have not. You all have done everything you could to try to stack the school board the way you want it to be. And that's why you have us here, because we hear the rumors. We know all you do to try to do what you want to do. But I just want to stand and say, it ain't gonna happen. We, as the Black community, will be on top of it because I plan to make it my duty to make sure that everybody knows exactly what goes on in these school board meetings and behind closed doors to do what you can do to keep the Black folk down. It's sad. I don't know how you can look in the mirror and when you sit there and say it about God being here, I don't even know if you know who God is. And I can say what I'm talking right now. You can say what you want afterwards. But I've seen you act, I've seen you operate, and back to when Dirk was elected. If he had to be elected by the public, he wouldn't have been here in the first place. But I'm gonna sit down because I got a lot to say. But I just want you all to know it ain't over yet. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Well, my name is Patricia Mims Brooks, and I'd like to thank you for your confidence in me, and I really am here to serve the children of Lincoln Parish and this district with my whole heart. So thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, you couldn't sit up here. Until you're sworn in, you can't vote, but it will.
Come on.
So she will receive, we'll let the Secretary of State know, she will receive a commission and an oath of office. And then once those are taken, she'll be ready to vote.
Mr. President and the board, I'm just happy to see a vote come up for acclamation on this Patricia Brooks here today. We need unity, and this is going to help. And in the second place, I am pleased because I understand that Mrs. Linda Henderson, whose seat that is vacant, recommended Mrs. Patricia Brooks. And it seems as though the board has honored that recommendation. And I do know that Mrs. Henderson's many years on this board, she knows more about District 9 than anyone. So you have honored her request, and I am very pleased at that. Thank you.
All right. So, do we need a vote? If there's only one?
Just go ahead.
Go ahead and vote?
Yes.
Okay. Do we need to do a roll call vote?
That'd be fine.
Great, go ahead.
Danielle Williams,
Yes,
David Ferguson,
Yes.
Clark Kenberry,
Yes.
Donna Dawes,
yes.
Danny Hancock,
Yes.
Joe Mitchum,
Yes.
Hunter Smith,
Yes.
Greg Phillips,
Yes.
Otha Andrews is absent, George Mack,
Yes.
and Debbie Abram.
Yes.
All right, congratulations. Look forward to working with you. Okay, we're gonna move on to item number 4.2, to approve the superintendent search procedures and tentative timeline. Mr. Geis, I'll turn it back over to you.
Get out here where I can see everybody. Folks, I want to go through the procedure generally, and then we'll get to the timeline. You know, everybody hears about Act 1. Act 1 took away board members' authority and on everything. Well, this is the one thing that you still have authority on. That's the election of your superintendent. So we try to spend time. We know it's an important decision, and for the purposes of the board and the public, I want to go over the procedure. The item on your agenda tonight or this afternoon is to get the ball started, to create a timeline. I urge us to understand that we need some flexibility there. Certainly, we will approve getting it started, getting it in the papers and all. But what we want to do is to, when the actual interviews are, we will make that determination once we determine how many that we've had. Sometimes you'll have 12 or 15 applications. Sometimes it's 1 or 2. So the actual number of days you need for interviews can't be determined until we get that number in. With that being said, though, part of the procedure is that we run the ad 3 times. The law, which is 17:54, says the first ad is in your official journal. The very next week, you run the ad in a publication that is much larger than that. In this case, it'll probably be the Shreveport Times or the Monroe paper. The third week, it is back in your official journal, okay? And so there are 3 ads 1 week apart. Official journal, larger paper, and then back to the official journal. Around the state, we see that most boards go ahead and put it also at the LSBA on their website, the superintendent and principal websites, which is now LASA, and you can send it also to the Louisiana Department of Education. So what you're doing is you're making a wide path there, wide swath of putting it in the papers. It'll be on your website. It'll be on the websites of LDOE, the Superintendents and Principals Association, and the School Board Association. Once the ads or the application period closes, we take all the applicants and we generally send them to another school board to let them look at the applications to verify that that the people are certified. Now, obviously, you've got someone here that could do that, but what this does is if you have in-house applicants, principals or district administrators that apply, you don't want anyone to question whether there was any fairness or unfairness. So you send it out and have a third party verify. Once you get the list back from that third party saying, these are the people who are certified and who you could hire if you wanted to, then we can go in, we will set the interview dates, we will have the interviews. You could have one interview, you can, if they're depending on the number of applicants, you may want to have finalists and have a second interview. Again, that is all up to the board. But it will take a majority vote of the entire membership of the board to hire your next superintendent. So that's the way that goes. Now, I have shared with you a sample timeline, and that being that you would start your first ad in the Ruston Daily Leader on March the 8th. You would then go to the Shreveport Times or the News Star or any other newspaper you want on March the 15th. That's exactly a week. The third advertisement would be back to the Ruston Daily Leader on March 22nd. So that's your 3 consecutive publication requirements. I have proposed to you a deadline for applications of April the 3rd. I believe that's going to fall on a Friday. And Ricky, I know we changed one of those dates, didn't we?
Yeah, I can't remember.
We changed the, to the 9th,
The meeting?
yes, April 9th.
3rd was Good Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do we want to leave the application on the 3rd and then open it up on were y'all going to be closed on the 6th?
We're closed on the 3rd and 6th, yes.
Okay. Well, then the deadline could still be the 3rd. You're going to be mailing them into a post office box. And then the next business day, the board president and vice president would open up the box. And if you want to send somebody else with them, that's fine too. But the box is opened up. All the applications are then received. And then we will send them and have them vetted by the other school district. Then we can either at the next meeting or at a special meeting, the board can vote on who do we want to interview. Do we want to interview everyone? Do we want to interview just these certain people? That is the board's decision. So let me summarize it again. 3 ads in the paper, an application deadline. We open up the post office box, get all the applications out of there, and then we vet them, have another person verify their certification, and then they go to the board to determine who you want to interview. So that's the situation.
So will the board get to see all the list of applicants?
Absolutely.
Whether they were knocked out because of the,
No, man, you will get every
Okay.
application.
Okay.
Now, a lot of people may be new to this process. You may have new board members. I know we got one brand new. The reason we send applications to a post office box, number 1, generally make sure nothing gets lost. Number 2, we're all humans. And if somebody at the front desk is taking applications, I go, ooh, so-and-so applied for that job. Nobody else is going to want to apply. If they're locked up in a box, you don't know who's applied. There's no pressure on someone not to apply because somebody else has. So we send them all to that post office box. We get them at one time. We vet them at one time. This board gets a list of everybody that applied. You'll also get a copy of the letter from the other school district where it says we have reviewed and the following people are qualified and certified.
so we talked about in the last meeting, review application, notice the review. We talked about possibly a town hall too.
That's a possibility if you'd like.
Is this on the timeline or what are we gonna do about that?
We haven't decided as a board
Oh,
what we're going
okay.
to do on that.
What I would recommend is that once you get the applications, let's fast forward to April the 9th or whenever our next board meeting is in April. Once you open up all the applications and you see how many you got, you can say, Mr. President, I move that we interview A, B, and C, and that we have a town hall meet and greet for the public to meet A, B, and C before we conduct the interviews, and you could certainly do that.
Will all these applications be open at the same time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So none should be leaked and sealed again.
No, sir. Well, I won't,
Be sure.
I don't know about the past, but I could tell you this.
About the present.
We will get the applications at the one fell swoop. You can send anybody you want to send down there and to pick them up. I'll go with you if you want to go. But we'll get those applications. We will immediately open them up. I will go through, well, number one, I'll give you the list of who it is, but we have to go through those to remove social security numbers in the event that something's there. Any personal information that is not public will be redacted at that point before they're sent wherever they're sent. So that's the way it works.
I have a question. This post office box you're speaking of,
Yes.
is it one already assigned to the school board office?
No.
Or will it be a new one?
It should be a new one.
Okay.
And it will, what we're going to do is we're going to take our application, we're going to put our application on the Lincoln Parish School Board website. And when we run the ad, it'll say, notice the Lincoln Parish School Board is seeking qualified applicants for the position of superintendent. Applications may be downloaded from our website, and you are to submit the applications by no later than April 3rd to this post office box. Now, here's the other thing that I like about the post office box. If that deadline's April 3rd and that's a Friday, and we get down there Monday and open it up, your application's either in there or it's not. And there can't be anybody, oh, well, what happened to my, it's either in there or it's not. And so you can't say, well, I dropped it off. Where did it go? You know, it's either in there, and we will have multiple people there to verify what's in there.
And a follow-up question.
Yes.
Who will have access to this post office box?
The key for that box can go wherever the board wants it to go.
Okay.
Usually, I've seen it stay in the HR department, but it can be ever who the board wants it to.
Okay, so they'll designate someone
Yes,
to have access to that box?
yes.
Okay.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe it's on my part, I didn't understand. Is it customary for you all to get another school board to approve the applicants that you sent in?
It's
And
not,
why, again, are you doing that?
yes, ma'am. It's not required by law. I want that to be clear. The
But
reason
then why are you doing it?
because let's say that you've got an in-house applicant here.
Okay,
And that young lady applies for superintendent, and they determine that she's the only certified person here. All those other people are going to say, well, sure they did. She's the in-house person. We're trying to get a disinterested third person, whether it's Bossier, Ouachita, or Rapides, these bigger systems that have people that do it quickly, to go through. They're not saying these are the people you interview. What they're doing is they're saying, we looked at their certificates, we contacted the state, and we certify that these people are certified and qualified for the position.
okay.
Now, I can do that myself by looking at it, but I don't want to be the person calling that ball and strike. I want someone else to verify it as well.
And then you all can approve or disapprove.
Correct.
what
Once,
they say.
once it comes back to the board, this board is the only one that can determine who to interview. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'll be happy to answer any questions.
If there's another school board who may look at the applicants,
Mhm.
have you determined what school board or?
I can give you several options. Historically, I have a relationship with the Bossier HR department over there through Superintendent Rowland and Jeff Powell down in Alexandria, and they have said they're always happy. There's a gentleman named Clay Corley in DeSoto Parish that has always helped as well. Yes. Now look, here I want to put your mind at ease. Let's say that Bossier looks at someone's certificate and says, look, we don't think John Smith is certified. I've got a letter that I sent to Mr. Smith that says, dear Mr. Smith, our preliminary review of your application shows that you may not be certified. You have 3 days, 5 days, or whatever to supplement to establish that you are certified in the event you feel this determination is in error. We also put in there that if you're an out-of-state applicant, that you can submit a letter from the state of Louisiana saying, John Smith is from Arkansas, but he meets all qualifications for certification, and if you hire him, he can serve. So we try to bend over backwards to make sure that we have as large of a pool as possible.
Will you deliver those applicants to the system that's going to certify them?
What we generally do is we scan all of those in, and after we've redacted the confidential stuff, and then we electronically send them. They're a public record, and there's nothing inappropriate by sending them electronically.
Those dates that you mentioned for running in the official journal, and then is that the school board's about to vote on those dates? or
Correct.
Those are, okay.
That's correct. That is correct. And folks, one final thing you need to realize, you must wait 30 days from the date of the last ad before you employ a superintendent. So if you go back to those proposed dates that I set out for you, the last ad run in March, I think the 22nd, I said.
Yes.
Then the earliest you could actually appoint someone would be 30 days from that date. And that makes sure that the public has an opportunity to get involved in the process, make sure that everything is as open as possible. I'm going to use the word open instead of transparent. I get tired of that word sometimes, but that's the gist. We want these folks to have an opportunity to see what's going on.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said that you will have 30 days forward after the last ad.
Yes.
To actually select the superintendent.
You can't do it sooner than that.
Right.
You got to wait 30 days.
30 days, right. Now, will that last ad indicate that the board is going to vote on that superintendent in the 30 days?
No, ma'am. The ads never say, because we never know when the meeting's going to be at that time. What the ad will say, and I think I've got
And
a
the reason
sample.
I asked that question, the main reason I asked that question is because I know that on the filling the vacancy for Ms. Henderson,
Mhm.
the board had only 20 days to fill that vacancy once it became official. And they, that resignation was on February 3rd.
Yes, ma'am.
So today is the 20th day. But the public notice only came out on the 20th, which gave the public actually 2 days to identify a person and make a recommendation. Only 2 days. But the board had 20 days. The public didn't know they were going to do this today when that happened 20 days ago. The board, I don't know if they knew, they had to know that it was going to be 20 days hence. So that's the reason I asked that question.
I got the actual suggested ad here. I'm going to read it to you. Notice of vacancy, request for applications. The Lincoln Parish School Board is seeking qualified applications for school superintendent. The applicant must meet the qualifications set forth by Bessie and the Louisiana Department of Education. Applicants must be certified as superintendent in Louisiana at the time they apply or eligible for immediate certification as confirmed in writing by the Louisiana Department of Education at the time of application. You must furnish your LDOE confirmation of certification along with your completed application. Please note that the applicant must possess the credentials which entitle him or her to serve as the district superintendent. The deadline for submission of applications is April 3rd. Applications will not received by that date will not be considered. Applications are available on the homepage of the Louisiana of the system's website. Your completed application with a cover letter, resume, and 3 current letters of references and proof of education must be mailed to the following address: Superintendent Search, Lincoln Parish School Board, P.O. Box blank, Ruston, Louisiana 71270.
So that's the last day.
That will be the same ad that runs in all 3 papers. Yes.
So are there a list of qualifications laid out that the person must have?
When it says certification, that is a term of art. Bulletin 746 in Louisiana says what those qualifications are. Yes.
But to her point,
Mhm.
we're wanting to be the #1 school system. So there should be a certain criteria, qualifications that we want as a board to move forward.
If you would like to add additional things,
Mm-hmm.
then you certainly could add additional.
So,
Yes.
when is the first date that the ad gonna come out and the rest of the date of the league?
I think we said March the 8th.
Okay.
Yes.
We could change that.
Look,
If
this,
this board desires to do so,
Look.
we could run it Sunday.
you
move
could run it
everything up a
more,
week, but I don't know if that's smart.
you can run it more, but you can't run it less. It's gotta be 3 times 1 week apart. Official journal, larger paper, official journal. Then if you wanted to expand it and run it more, then you certainly could. And look, I know how hard it is to get everybody to looking at a calendar. I just presented this as a sample just to get you thinking along these lines. If you want to change the dates, that's certainly your problem.
Can I make another statement? I know the board has the authority to do whatever it pleases to do with regard to this process. But the one thing I would hope that y'all would do is make whatever decisions you make about this process, make it available to the public so the public is aware of what's going on with regard to superintendent search or anything related to that matter. Because obviously we care, which is why a lot of us are here. And when we're in the dark about what the process of what's going on and this date or that date, and we find out secondhand, it really rubs the public the wrong way. And so if you can keep us abreast of what's going on with this search process, we would appreciate it so very, very much.
Thank you. Okay, so,
What would be the advantage or disadvantage of running it one more time on the 1st instead of waiting till the 8th? You said we have to run it 3 times.
You gotta run
it 4 times.
I've got you running it 3 times.
Right.
The 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd.
But if we ran it on the 1st, the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd.
You could
It's just
do
more
that.
money in
You could do that.
advertising.
It's just more money, but you could certainly do that.
That doesn't change our timeline?
No, sir, it doesn't. And look, the way we've got this timeline, you could hire the superintendent at the end of April, and that would give you enough overlap to make sure that the person hired has an opportunity to at least see the board in operation before Mr. Dirk's gone. So,
To Dr. Williams's point, I think I'm trying to understand what she was trying to say. If there was something that the board wanted to add to the criteria, that's not to the criteria of who can apply. But I think what you're referencing, Dr. Williams, is who we do hire, right? Not who can apply, because the state mandates who can apply, right?
Right, that's correct.
Okay. What you're asking is, we as a board add additional criteria to our own hiring practices.
Exactly.
Okay. I was just making sure we can't change who qualifies. We can just change who is hired.
you can put in there that we're looking for a qualified applicant, blah, blah, blah. X number of years in administrative experience is preferred. You know, some boards can do that. But in my experience, when you start doing that, everybody's got differences of opinion as to how long that should be and what it should be. And it becomes like a mini meeting to determine what you want to put in the ad. So, but you as a board can certainly talk about what do we want in a superintendent? What are we looking for? And kind of use that as your guiding principle.
Do applications open when the first ad runs or as soon as they pass this timeline?
They're going to open whenever we get that application up on the website. It's if you'll look at the ad and I'll give you one here, the sample. It simply says you go to the website, retrieve it, and then mail it in. So
So as soon as that process is up and running.
That's right. As soon as we get a post office box, insert the post office box into the ad, get it, the application onto the website, then we'll be ready to roll.
Yes, I thought that I heard the term certified, and I also heard the term qualified in that paragraph that you read.
Mhm.
I would like to see you use certified rather than qualified, because you can always go in and take care of that certified. I brought somebody forward to be hired on the certified, on the, no, on the, now I'm confused, on the qualified. And then it was changed to certified by the time we got to the actual interview and hiring.
The statute actually refers to, like when we're hiring principals, teachers, and all, it says certified and qualified. Let me give you an example.
All right.
We've had people who are certified, who are convicted of certain crimes, or they do something to a child, and they still got their certificate.
Right.
But the courts have said that because of their misconduct, they are not qualified or fit to serve. So that's not my words, that's what's in the statute for that
But
purpose.
that was what I wanted to see,
Yes.
addressed, certified or qualified.
Yes,
I
Yes,
have
ma'am.
something to say.
yes, ma'am.
I'm a police juror. And from my standpoint, with the school board and the police jury, it always seems Black people don't qualify or certify. So I would love to, let some Black, if Black people really certify or qualify, let them serve. It's just as many Black children in the school system as white. I'm not prejudiced. I'm just saying that's the same thing I said to police jury. It's some Black people out there that certified for these positions. But before we know it, they don't fill the position.
Well, ma'am, this one will not be filled until we've gone through this advertising process, interview process, and so that's going to be, they're going to have the opportunity to apply. Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
I would ask the board, is there anybody that doesn't like the timeline that has been laid out? Dr. Williams, do you have any concerns about the timeline?
No, just, with us adding the town hall component, but
And
before we
when you
hire.
ask for a town hall, do you consider that to be any different than a normal board meeting? In which because it's been a while since we did this. So I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, a public school board meeting is a town hall meeting, and everyone had a choice when we interviewed Mr. Durrett and Mr. Lyons, however many years ago that was. I felt like that was a public. Are you saying in addition to that?
Yes, in addition to, one of the things that, Attorney Geis mentioned, is that, like example, you have students, you have public that can, submit questions, ask those members, the potential candidate questions from the public, and then kind of see how they respond before we take a vote.
I got you. So March 22nd is the last ad, right? So the interviews were set to be when?
April 22nd was the tentative date.
For interviews was April 22nd.
That can be changed. That's not set in stone, but that stays within the boundaries of
That's the
legal.
earliest we can
It's the earliest we can hire is April
So
22nd.
ideally, Dr. Williams, where would you like to see a town hall meeting inserted between the 22nd of March and the 22nd of April?
And honestly, if we're gonna have people who are from out of town, we have to be respectful of not bringing them in twice. Especially if they have to fly or carry in a long distance. We don't want to work on that at the same, I would think.
But you're thinking town hall meeting is an introduction of the candidates in which we are going to interview.
That's correct.
I can enlighten you on that. Monroe City used it, they used a gymnasium. They had 3 applicants, as I recall. They had one under one goal, one under the other one, and one at midcourt with a little high top table, cookies and punch. People came around and introduced themselves and talked to the applicant. And so we've seen it done that way. We've seen other places where a student, they ask the same 2 or 3 questions of all 3 applicants, just so that people get a feel for the people. So you can do it any way you want, but that's the concept.
And the second one is the, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry, Dr. White.
I was gonna say, what's on my mind, my question is, that might work with 3 applicants, but suppose we have 15 applicants.
That's why I think we don't set it now. We wait until we see how many applicants that we have. And then when we have the pool of applicants, we've got 5 applicants. How do we want to set this up? Do we want to do all 5 one night? You know, at least we'll have more clarity when we have all the applications as to when those dates will be. I understand President Phillips saying we're set to have the interviews on April 22nd. That's good as long as we all understand that's tentative.
But we don't open the PO box until Tuesday the 7th.
Correct.
Or Monday the 6th.
Whichever 2 you want. Whichever date you want on that.
I personally am thinking maybe the 7th, because those Friday and Monday are holidays. We don't want to have somebody come in and not get put in there.
Correct. When is your next board meeting after the 7th?
The 9th.
All right, so by the 9th, I will have you the list of confirmed people who are qualified and certified under the DOE guidelines.
You will have already gotten them from the box and sent them to the third party.
And done by then, yes.
Okay. We meet at noon that day.
That's not a problem.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
There's a website, folks. It's not like hocus pocus. There's a website. You can put in the applicants' names, and it'll tell you if they are certified or if they have a certification application in the pipeline. And so that's.
Well, then does it make it sense to put on the, the 9th, the agenda for the 9th to discuss a town hall meeting on that night, because we don't know what we have or who we have until that point. Okay, that's what I was trying to get to. Because I would assume on the 9th, that's when we're gonna confirm when the interview days are.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, folks, I gave y'all 2 different ads or advertisements. If you'll recall, I gave you one that's basically what I call the tombstone ad. It's just the bare essentials. And the other one is the board detail. And I'm sure somebody in your administration is going to want a little guidance. So which one do y'all want to go with?
That's the color.
Yes, that's one. That's the one. And then the other one's just bare basics. I don't know what you used last time.
That was the wording, yeah. Just basic word.
Correct.
Which I'm actually in favor of that versus all the.
One's got graphics, one doesn't. That's the only difference.
I'm not a big PowerPoint presentation ad look. I like simple, straightforward.
Right.
That's just my thought.
Any other questions of me?
Thank you.
Thank you.
So do I have a motion to approve the timeline based upon what Mr. Geis gave us as a sample there any additions to that you would want to change or anything? Additional ad you'd want to put March 1st, or are those 3 ads? Okay,
And which ad to use?
and which ad to use, yeah. So we can make all that in one lump sum motion.
I'll make a motion, we'll go with the timeline that's been recommended.
Do you have a preference on ad?
I do, I like the plain one.
Okay.
Not the graphics.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for the dates of March 8th, 15th, and 22nd for the ads. The application deadline is April 3rd. That the box would be opened on the 7th, which is a Tuesday. And then the meeting on the 9th of April to review applications and to set interviews. And at that time, we could discuss that interview process, including town hall meeting date and selection date.
I'll second that motion.
We have a first and a second. Do we have any comments from the audience?
What do
Any
you call
questions?
selection date? What do you mean when you say selection date?
The date that we would actually hold interviews and make a selection, we can make it at that time because that date could be a 2-day event if there's 20 applicants that we want to interview. I don't think it would be fair to do all, I'm just making up a number, 20 in one day. So I think once all of those applications have been received, then we can decide how many we're going to interview. And from that, we can determine, can we do that in 1 day or 2 days? Does that make sense?
I'm still listening for selection date.
Selection date would
To be
be
determined.
to be determined, but I know it can't be, it has to be at least 30 days after the 22nd of May.
All right.
So that, of March,
That's when they vote on who they're
of
going
March,
to.
yeah.
Right, right.
So April 22nd would be the earliest date that we could make those interviews and selection.
Yes, thank you.
And does that also include the town hall meeting that you were talking about, that you set that date as well?
We would set that in the meeting of April the 9th.
Okay.
Set both of those days.
We would set those dates at that time because we would have everything we would have at that point. Any other comments from the board or from the audience? All right, all in favor of that schedule, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Hearing none, we'll lock those dates in. Okay, is there
Ms.
any other?
Mary will go ahead and, as soon as you can, email us each a copy of the calendar, this timeline,
Please
please.
send it to the papers too, please.
Need some more work.
The timeline?
Yeah,
Any other business before the board?
make a motion.
Make a motion, we adjourn, thank you.